Hit that notification, people. Ding, ding, ding.
What's going on, fish nerds? Today we are going to start building new fish tank racks for the new fish room, and I'm already sweating because it's super hot out here, but we're going to be working out here on the porch just because it's a flat level surface. And we've got our boards, we've got our screws, clamps, tools, spray paint, because I'm going to paint these things black and get them looking sharp. We've got tanks to set on there and make sure everything's fitting good. So before we get started real quick, I do want to give a big shout out to flipaquatics.com. They're our channel sponsors. I want to thank them in a big way for helping to make this possible, them supporting the channel. I mean, wood and stuff isn't free, so because of them supporting the channel, we're able to do this kind of stuff, and so big shout out to them. Go check them out, flipaquatics.com. They are the #1 source for freshwater aquarium shrimp in the entire United States. They've got awesome quality, awesome customer service, and we're super proud to be sponsored by them. I mean, Rob was my buddy before he was a sponsor. They're good friends of ours. 100% support them and appreciate them supporting us. And they also just recently put in a big rack of tanks for freshwater aquarium plants, so be looking for freshwater plants as well on their website. Again, that's flipaquatics.com. But for now, let's go ahead and let me show you what I'm going to do with these tank racks. So you can see here we're working with 2x4s. These are actually 10 feet long, and I should be able to get 2 side beams out of each one of these, because I'm going to go just under 5 feet tall for these racks. I'm going to do 3 tanks per rack. We're going to be working on 20 tall tanks today. That's what these are. These are my 2 of my 3 20 tall tanks, and I've got to drill those as well, but for now we're just building the tanks. And so I want 3 of those stacked high. Now when you're working with stacking 3 high, you have to decide whether you want to get on your tiptoes or on a step ladder in order to see all of the top tank, or whether you want to squat down or kneel down in order to see all the details of the bottom tank. I'm only 5'8", and I don't want to get
2 times the tank, tons of new fish, and 300 pounds of bearded milk chocolate to show you around. Fish Cave 2.0. Let's do it. Obviously, a lot has changed since you guys have last seen the fish room. So much to go over for sure. Biggest being these 2 brand new rack systems. We got one here in the center, as well as these 2 that take place of the old rack system that was there. We also, instead of having 1 air pump that pumps into 1 central system, 1 loop around the whole garage, we now have 3. We have 1 over there. We have the original one over there, and then we have one actually behind me. Big thanks to Aquarium Co-op for hooking us up with one of those. Gonna have a whole video out on air system. Gonna have another video out on the rack build. We're gonna talk about some of the automatic water change system that is not yet complete, but we have all the parts for it for the most part. Another thing, big thing that's changed, the 125 is now gone. We're gonna replace that with something different, but let's jump into some fish. I know that's why you're here. Got a lot to show you. Let's take a look at this new rack system first. Come over here. We got some new fish in the new rack system. So let's start over here. These first fish down here are some pretty neat ones. These are tiger teddies. These are a really cool, rare live bear you don't see too often. Had these guys for a few weeks now. These are courtesy of Preston John. You may know him as the guy that breeds the Sheldenti puffer. He also keeps a bunch of other cool species. He hooked us up for free. Gonna have a whole video on that coming out. The cichlid shack over in Arizona. They mostly do cichlids, African cichlids and stuff, but they shipped all this stuff overnight. It was an awesome experience, so big shout out to both Preston John and the cichlid shack. Like I said,
Hiya fishy folks, and welcome back to Michael's Fish Room. Today, a quick and easy, dumbed-down version of the nitrogen cycle. Grab a healthy snack and beverage, put on your thinking caps, and stand by. All Alright, fishy folks, today we're going to talk about the nitrogen cycle, but before we do that, if you could just do me a ginormous favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you think you have, just go down and double check right now, because I've had a couple people recently that said, Mike, I thought I was subscribed, but I'm not. Thank you for reminding me. So just double check, and if you're not, go ahead, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. After you subscribe, just, hit that bell so you get all the notifications. You know if I go live. You know if I release a new video. All right? And then go ahead and check out my website, michaelsfishroom.com, where mutt guppies are on sale for a limited time. Buy 5, get 1 free. So you buy 5, you get 6. No additional charge. All right, today's video is going to be about the nitrogen cycle, and it comes to me, or comes to you, from a subscriber request. There's a newer group on Facebook that I'm involved with called Cookie's Fish Room, and one of my subscribers asked a question. I forget what the question was, but I asked her if she understands the nitrogen cycle. Her name is Beck. She's from Australia, and she said, I think so. And so then she asked if I would do a video on the nitrogen cycle, and I said sure. So here it is. Now I know there's a million videos on Facebook on the nitrogen cycle. Some of them are good, some of them are too scientific, some of them really suck. I hope this gives you some knowledge and humor, because that's my shtick. But this is going to be a very dumbed down version of it, because I am just a dumb guy with a camera with a few fish tanks and a small YouTube channel. So hopefully you guys learned something, you might laugh a little bit, and everything is good. So what is the nitrogen cycle? Well, the nitrogen cycle is when your fish tank, which as you know...
It's been 6 days since this package started its transit. Yo, you have got to be kidding me. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. I am Otter from Otter Aquatics, and today I want to talk about one of the most fearful things when it comes to the aquarium hobby. And whether you're shipping fish out or you're receiving fish through the mail, one of the most fearful things is that these fish are going to get stuck in transit. And that's exactly what happened to me this past week, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it today. So let's go ahead and dive in. So before we get started with the unboxing and checking out whether the fish made it or not, I want to actually give you guys a backstory on these super rare endlers. That way you can see how much this fish actually means to me. So before we get started with that, I actually have 9 strains of endler in my fish room currently. What this means is basically I am a sucker when it comes to these endlers, and I really love breeding them, especially breeding them for profit. And if you haven't checked it out already, I actually sell these endlers on OtterCreekAquatics.com, as well as guppies, shrimp, and some plants. So after the video, definitely go check out my website if you're interested in any of these fish, shrimp, or plants. So I actually had a 10-gallon tank come up free where I could get a new strain of guppy or endler, and I had been searching around for quite some time on some other YouTubers' websites as well as Aquabid, and I searched for endlers because I needed one more strain of endler to complete this 9-tank rack right here. So I was on Aquabid when I came across this blue snake endler, and this is a wild type endler. It comes from Venezuela, and it is the Capoma N31. Needless to say, I have never even seen a picture of this endler at this time, and I have done quite a bit of research on endlers myself. So after I see the picture of this endler on Aquabid, I'm like, yep, this endler is mine. I'm buying it right now. And what I read when I started reading the description of this seller on Aquabid completely heartbroken. They only ship to Europe and the UK. I probably searched for months waiting for this endler to pop up from somebody that ships in the US.
Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. Thanks for hanging out with me in the fish room today. This time I want to talk about where you can actually sell your fish to. And I want to go in order from the most profitable until the least profitable. There's lots of different avenues that you can take, and depending on where you live will have a lot to do with how many people are available. Again, if you live out in the country and you don't have many people around you, you're not going to have as much opportunity to make as much money. You're pretty much stuck to having to go online. So when I give these examples, you got to take them as they are. Some of them are going to be for you and some of them are not going to be for you. So let's go ahead and let's move ahead and let's talk about the one that can make you the most money. The one that can make you the most money is selling locally and being able to list on some place that's free. So the first one that would be free would be listing your stuff on Craigslist. Now if you list your stuff on Craigslist, you don't have to pay any type of fees, and then people can come by your house and pick it up. If you're not comfortable with people picking up at your house, you can go meet them somewhere. You have the ability to make the most profit, but because of it being Craigslist, you're not going to have a huge amount of people that are going to be on there looking for fish. So you might not be able to sell it for as much as you could when you list it on some place that has a much bigger a crowd of people. So the next thing we want to look at is being able to sell at a local swap. You're going to have some type of fish association to be able to do this. You may have one local, or you may have one where you have to drive, let's say an hour and a half to get to. A lot of the swap meets that are put on are totally free. So again, now you've got a place where you can go and you can sell your fish and you're not having to pay any type of fees whatsoever. And now you're going to get a pretty big crowd because everyone that's there are pretty much people that are going to be looking for fish or fish supplies. Now the best way to find these associations, if you're not currently a part of one, is get online and just do a search for tropical fish associations. You'll find a bunch of different listings that'll point you in different places. There's a lot of them that seem to be gone now, and there's a lot of the ones that are kind of there but they're not terribly active. The ones that seem to be the best are the ones that you see posting on Facebook and having an active group. That's where you're going to be able to sell for the most, because you're going to have the most people that are going to be coming to their events and willing to spend money. Okay, so the next one would be an auction. Now your auctions are, again, they're put on by some of your local fish clubs. And again, you're going to have to find your local fish clubs like we talked about earlier. Now, whenever you sell at an auction, you have some limiting factors on it. Now, typically, you're only able to bring so many fish, or so many bags of fish is the way that it works. So you're limited to the amount that you can bring. The other thing is you have absolutely no control at all at what your fish are going to sell for. You could have some fish that are going to sell for 3 or 4 times more than you ever expected, and then you're going to have some fish that may end up towards the very end of the auction, when a lot of people have gone and people have run out of money, that may sell for 200 or 300% for less than what you were asking for them. So this is kind of the one where you just don't know exactly what you're getting into. A great place sometimes to go to get some great deals